Bitcoin is back. Bitcoin up 3.6% here. Altcoins moving to the upside. Our trades are running huge profits in the Telegram group right now. But is this a trap? Could we be heading back to the downside, or is this a real and proper bounce? I'm going to break down the charts, what I'm seeing, and a lot more. Smash up the likes. Don't forget to subscribe. As always, guys, check out the links in the description to Bybit, BitGet, Mexi, the three exchanges I'm currently using in this market to trade with. Now, as you can see here, Bitcoin getting a really important bounce here. This was a level we were finding very difficult, that 40,000, 40.5k. I posted in Telegram earlier this morning. If we can break through that 40.5, this is hugely bullish. And indeed, that 4-hourly candlestick here was an impressive one. Pushed us up 3.2% here from as low as 39. It was below 40, right? It was below 40 when this candlestick opened up, and it finished at 41.3. A big, powerful move by the bulls here. And now the question is going to be, was that the dip? Was that the dip opportunity that you had to pick up some final cheap Bitcoin before we head higher? And who owns the trend? Could we be getting a bigger pullback? Now, first, we need to understand what is going on in the wider market. We just had a very important PCE inflation figure come out. This came in bullish. It showed that the inflation was cooling down. It came in at 2.9% on a yearly basis, 0.2% month over month as markets were expecting. In fact, the 2.9 was lower than the 3% that was expected by markets. This is a good sign. This shows that inflation is starting to come down. This is the most important inflation metric that Jerome Powell and the Fed use when deciding their monetary policy. Now, in 5 days' time, we do indeed get the next FOMC meeting, right? The majority of the market is expecting a pause. But what's more interesting is in March, will we get this cut? 48% of the market think by March the 20th, which is the next FOMC meeting after this one in January, that we will finally get our first rate cut. And that is going to be the pivot that the market was waiting for, is waiting for. And so when we look at Bitcoin here, we can bring out the EMA ribbon and let's do some analysis on it. Let's take a look at where do we think support and resistance lies. Now, what is so important by that 4-hourly candlestick? If you're watching this, you guys know I was worried that this was running into the EMA ribbon. But what did I say? If we can close above a 4-hourly candle, we now take the trend. And now we get the 4-hourly trend back on side here for Bitcoin. This is a major coup, right? Because look at the pattern, how it was going. This was a downtrend for quite a while. We moved to the downside, we retraced into the EMA ribbon, moved to the downside, retraced into the EMA ribbon. You would have been okay to think, okay, we're coming back down here. But the bulls stepped in, bears capitulated, and we managed to recover this 4-hourly trend. And so now the question is going to be, can Bitcoin move here, retest, and then finally start to work its way to higher levels, right? We need to see it break through 41.6 to the 41.7 level, hold it, and then mount an attack back at 43, and then eventually working itself back up to 44. Now, when we look at this, does this now mean we're out of the woods? Well, we need to be a little bit smart about this, right? You cannot just see this chart here on the 4-hourly and jump to conclusions. Best thing to do, as I always say, and as I walk through in my TA course, jazzcrypto.com/TA, always zoom up to the higher time frame. It gives you the bigger picture, right? It's like going to 40,000 feet and trying to understand what was just going on. And so the 4-hourly is now bullish, right? We flipped that bullish. But where are we on the daily chart? The daily chart is still bearish. And so we got to proceed with a little bit of caution. Now, you guys know I'm still actively trading this market. I'm taking this volatility as opportunities to trade. And so in our Telegram community, jazzcrypto.com/TG, you guys can jump in there for free. I teach you guys how to trade. I show you exactly how I trade the market, how I use these indicators, and how I set up my trades. But you got to take respect of the bigger trend. And Bitcoin could be in for a violent rejection if we do not break through this key level. So let me break this down for you guys. You can see here, this is the EMA ribbon which we lost, right? So if you go back to this day here, on the 18th of January, the other week, we lost our EMA ribbon. And we meandered for a couple of days, and boom, big candlestick dump to the downside. We lost our EMA ribbon, and we're trending here to the downside. We took a couple of days to recover, back above 40, and now today's candle is trying to recover. It's trying to fill this gap that we dumped so quickly back to the upside. The problem, however, is we now have a lot of overhead resistance, right? The horizontal line there, that yellow one at 41,600, we know that's resistance. This EMA ribbon, which is flippening, by the way, look at the yellow lines crossing over the red lines, that also acts as dangerous resistance. And so until we can get a daily close above this EMA ribbon, so until we can get this daily candle closing back above this 42,000 level, we're not out of the woods here. We don't manage to flip the daily trend back into positive territory. So it's very important to understand that from the 4 hourly, yes, things are bullish. From the daily, we've still got some work to do, but a really good start, because what you don't want to do is there'll be a lot of shorters and bears looking to do this, right? Let you move here, consolidate, boom, push us down to the downside. We don't want them to snipe us and take out all the leverage greed at the top, because now people are like, oh look, the market's green, let me go long now, right? When we were too smart, we were longing when the market was red, we were taking our positions here, right? And we can profit now in the green. They're going to be sitting here trying to short you guys from there. So it's very important that we can see a daily close above this EMA ribbon if we want the trend to continue to the top side here on Bitcoin. Now, of course, once we can do that, then it's a journey of, okay, can we start working our way back up? Can we start getting above, retest, break through some of these levels, hold support, get above 45, and start working our way back upwards and creating a higher high. That's going to be the longer term phase for Bitcoin. Right now, let's just focus on this. Let's get above 42.1, get a daily candle close, and then we're out of the woods on the daily chart. So now, if we take a look at the weekly chart, this is going to finish off the picture for us, because all you see here is we've had a crazy volatile 3 weeks. I mean, look at the wicks on the candles of these last 3 weekly candles. We went as high here on this candle as 49,000, and we went as low on this candle this week as 38,500. Huge $10,000 swings on Bitcoin. Crazy volatility, a lot of leverage in the system, a lot of dynamics in play here to do with interest rates, inflation, what's going on in the macroeconomy. At the same time, you've got grayscale dumping, you've got the Bitcoin spot ETFs bringing in some inflows, but not enough to balance off what was going. You then had Mt. Gox fears as well. We saw some fears yesterday to do with the US government selling their Silk Road Bitcoin, which they're holding as well. A lot of fear in this market. But when that fear's in the market, that's when I like to buy, right? That's when I like to take out my wallet and get buying. When this wick was wicking all the way down here to 38,000, people were scared, right? And that's where I'm looking to buy. If we continue to get a pullback, if we get rejected from that daily EMA ribbon, no problem. Let it come into the daily. Let me then buy some more. As it gets closer to this 37,000, if it comes back down towards 38, 37, I'm a buyer. I'm a buyer in this market, adding to my DCA positions. If it wants to go and get above the daily EMA ribbon and move onwards to go attack 45 and onwards, great stuff. But good news on the inflation front. Really positive news on the inflation front. The markets will take this in a positive manner because it means Jerome Powell can continue to pursue this rate cutting policy this year. And this is the main theme of this year, right? Yes, we've got the Bitcoin spot ETF. It's done. It's in the past. Yes, we've got the Bitcoin halving. Yes. But remember, Bitcoin flows on liquidity. If people do not have money in their pockets, and I don't just mean you and I and retail traders, banks, institutions, high net worth individuals, mutual funds, if there's no money in the economy, no liquidity, if everything's tight and interest rates are high, Bitcoin and risk on assets can't do good. Bitcoin is hugely correlated to risk on assets, and it needs money in the system. So when we loosen up monetary policy, when interest rates start to come down, and then eventually when the Fed and central banks around the world are helping stimulate the economies, Bitcoin's going to go on a ferocious run. That's what I'm in the market for. That's what I'm looking forward to. In the meantime, I'm actively trading this market. If you guys want to learn how to make sustainable profits using spot, no leverage, no greed, no margin, spot. I don't short either, just long only spot, sustainable trades. Jump into our Telegram community, JarsCrypto.com/TG. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.